Hi again. My name is Rebel and I'm the Rebel Reseller. And today we're going to be doing a What Sold video for Monday through Thursday, June 8th through the 11th. And my non-eBay platforms are on fire. Lots of nice sales on them. Even Robert had some really nice ones. So, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. I'm currently just taking pictures, processing stuff, and getting ready to go on our next trip. So life just continues along for us. But let me go ahead and share a lot of Depop, Whatnot, Etsy, Mercari, Poshmark. It's all here. Crazy. We will start with Depop. I have 3 sales to share with you from there. First one was this Back to the Future Einstein dog. Not been listed very long. Sold for an offer of $9.30. I wonder how Depop is going to continue to be when and if they ever end this free shipping thing, because I think it's really pulling buyers over there. So I don't know. But this next one, it was a $6 offer. I went ahead and accepted it because it's been listed forever, and I had just put it on Depop. It was a Goody brand super absorbent sports band, the kind that go around your head. Weird stuff I find at the bins sometime, but it sold for $6. And then I sold these white unicorn plush. One was Pottery Barn. Here's proof. I mixed brands, Pottery Barn and Aurora, and they sold on Depop for a $13 offer. And then 2 sales to share from Whatnot. First was this Line Friends, also the brand Gund. I don't know a whole lot about that at all. BT21 and Tata. I had the red one. I don't know which is which. Listed for quite a while on eBay, and then I found this itty bitty one, changed up the listing, got it over on Whatnot, and they sold for $25. And then another $25 sale were these lot of Thai Beanie Buddies. I have the koala, some kind of kiwi, and a fish, sold for $25. And then 3 on Mercari. First, another small sale, but it's gone. I had hoped that I would find like the little balls that also went with this play set. Never did. This is just my way. I list the small stuff. If I find stuff to put with it, I add it. But this ended up selling without anything. It is to the Ocean Wonders fish ball, and it was a little green fish figure. $6.95. And then I think this was actually picked up with all of that Snoopy stuff. There was one small box. It looked like maybe it had been stuff that this person collected outside of Snoopy that was sitting on a desk. It was just kind of a hodgepodge of items. But it was these Funko Space Jam Mystery Minis. This is Lola and Marvin Martian. And they sold for $14.95. And then one of the Ugly Dolls. I think I've sold all but one of the Ugly Dolls. I think I found 4 or 5. I think I've got one left. This is Dave Dorinko, and he sold on Mercari for $15. And then 3 on Poshmark. First was this FAO Schwartz Brown Sloth Plush. FAO Schwartz just does not sell for me. There's probably vintage ones that do well, but I bought a bunch at one point thinking that they would be worth something, and this ended up selling on Poshmark for $10. Next is Animal Alley, little chimp monkey plush, sold for $10. Old listings. And then this was a nice one. Fisher Price, Thomas the Train, Trackmaster track lots. Anytime we're at the bins and I can get a whole bunch of these at one time, I grab them. They don't weigh a whole lot, and I can make these lots up. Somebody's going to be thrilled to add it to a current collection. And they sold on Poshmark for $50. And then I had 6 on Etsy. And they were some good ones too. All right, Blue's Clues. This was the Eden one, older one. They tend to do better than the newer ones. It still sold for $14.95. It had some spots that I could not get out. All right, Wildlife Artist. This is a Rockhopper Penguin from 1999, sold for $24.95. Rainbow Bright Coloring and Sticker Book from 2004, sold for $21.95. Just listed this, and it sold on Etsy. This is Kenner Care Bears Graham's Bear from 1983. Had the shawl. That is the key thing that makes these sell for as much as they do. And it sold very quickly, $69.95. Not even the best sell on Etsy. I think this was my best sell for the 4-day period. This was a Hello Kitty talking pull string plush. It was from 1983. It did work. You know, you pulled the string and it talked. Unfortunately, there's a video on here. I don't think Etsy does volume. So the person just sent me a message before she bought it saying, does it work? And just kind of wanted to know what some of the things it said. So I went and pulled it out, listened to it, and made sure it was still working. And then she turned right around and bought it. $89.95. And then University of Tennessee Lil Smokey hand puppet sold for $16.95. And then eBay. First thing was this Kelly Toy Cuddle Me Toys brown dog, sold for $12. The good thing about this is she's already left me feedback with a picture. She was trying to match a plush from her childhood, and she said this is the closest thing that she's ever found to match it. So, you know, that was good. I saved a vintage toy, and, you know, somebody who was actively searching for it found it on eBay. This is a kind of a disappointment sale. We bought this Sudoku game at a yard sale for $2. It was sealed, and the buyer sent a message back with a picture saying that it didn't work. So, you know, I had two options, you know, get it back and it really not work, or just trust that they were being honest and go ahead and refund. We refunded. I didn't want it back if it wasn't going to be working anyway. So I just went ahead and gave them a full refund. I sent a message saying, because she had opened up a return, to not send it back. You know, only one time ever has somebody just went ahead and returned it, which, you know, makes it even worse, because then I had to have paid return shipping, because, you know, defective INADs, that stuff, no matter what, we have to pay the return shipping. But it was a disappointment, but I had to trust the process that it really wasn't working. She showed a picture. So it is what it is when you buy these older toys. All right, quick sale. I just picked this up at a yard sale. I want to say I paid $1 each. I picked up 3. And you know what? I think I've sold all 3 of them already. I think all of them for that $26.95, if I'm not mistaken. But this was Dundee baby blanket, had the little checkerboard pattern on it, $26.95. More brass. Bought a bunch, and we're down to, I think, the bottom this much of a tote left. This was a Walmart brass eagle hawk figurine, sold for $16.16. I've been dropping the prices trying to make this stuff go on. Wild Thornberries Eliza figure. I think one was Funko, one was Viacom. They sold for $15. Fisher-Price roll-arounds. I don't find these very often anymore. The nice thing about this lot is that I actually had an under 3 McDonald's toy of Grimace. So I think that was adding to the price that I was able to get for this lot. They ended up selling for $20.20. Nice sale. Folkmanis Sea Serpent Hand Puppet sold for $35.95. Applause Eli Penguin Plush from 1984, $13.72. And these are all plus shipping. Chosun Heart to Heart Tan Bear. This isn't the heart to hearts that I'm used to. Those usually have like a little beating heart thing that goes in their sides. This was just called Heart to Heart, and it ended up selling for $17.95. Angry Birds. Oops, I spelt that wrong. Angry Bids. Yellow plush from Commonwealth, did not have any sounds. Sold for $15.25. Abeka Health and Safety books. These are some homeschool curriculum that we picked up. Funny thing is I was just contemplating, and I'm probably going to do it the next week or so. I don't have much of it left. I'm thinking about just taking all of it down and making one big lot and just relisting it. And whoever gets it, you know, it's mixed grades, but, you know, they could fill in gaps for what they have and prepare for future things that they'll need. But this set ended up selling for $13. Lego base plates. I want to say this was a Ben's pickup. Just kind of random base plates. Some were the gray roads, and then there's a white and a green one there in the back. They ended up selling for $35.95. Afmao Me Meow cat plush. Picked them up at the Ben's. I want to say the first time we went to Dayton. Picked up quite a few. These two were from an Element lot, and they sold for $15. Mattel Dancing Pretty Ballerina Doll sold for $22.45. Did have a video showing that she worked. Unicorn Surprise from the same series as Puppy Surprise and Kitty Surprise. Had two little babies, and it sold for $13.72. I pick up the babies when I find them, but I don't tend to pick up the larger plush anymore. And then this was my best sell on eBay, and I just picked this up recently at, I think it was a church sale. Paid probably $2 or $3 for it. It was signed on the bottom LV Acoma, and it was just a pottery bowl. A lot of people were using like Arapaho. I didn't want to attribute it to anything specific like that. But I did find, you know, seed pot, hand painted, all of those keywords worked for me. And it sold very, very quickly for $75. So all in all, just an amazing week of sales across all the platforms. And then Robert. He had two sales on Depop. I'm telling you, Depop is on fire for us right now. These were Hollister Women's Cali Flare jeans, sold on an offer for $20. And then, nice sale, Fry Women's Veronica boots. We just listed these, and Robert took a $75 offer for them. Funny thing is I had forgotten about them. They got buried over here somewhere, and then when I found them, listed them, sold very quickly. And then he had two sales on Poshmark. First were these Risen Women's High-Rise Raw Step Hem Jeans. So all wonderful keywords that the Nifty AI made for him. I think he had just listed these, and they sold on Poshmark for $27. And then we still have some plush on there, or some toys. I hadn't planned on putting my toys on Poshmark again. I was just going to leave that account empty, and then I changed my mind. I'm always changing my mind. But we do still have a couple hundred items that were toys that had been cross-listed there. And occasionally we sell something. A lot of it was higher dollar stuff. But this was Mango, which I have found the bears in the past, but I had never found a Shaggy Dog backpack plush. and it sold for $50. And then on eBay, he had quite a few sales. First was the 7 women's jean shorts. Lots of shorts are selling right now. Get them listed. And these sold for $11. Tantrums women's denim jacket sold for $20.65. Gap low-rise bootcut jeans sold for $13.21. Just seem to be selling a lot of our older stuff, which is really, really nice. And these were some Gap low-rise bootcut jeans sold for $13.21.
I'm trying to get rid of everything that's old out of my store. So I'm just, while Rebel's been here talking, I had some old stuff and I sent a 25% offer on it to make it go away. It needs to go away. It's been there too long.
Yeah, we just did a big shuffle. The issue when you use the system that we use for clothes is, we have them in boxes. We pre-numbered everything. So as you sell stuff, boxes start getting, less and less stuff in them. So yes, for 2 days this week, we went back there and we started moving everything. How many boxes did we get rid of?
Right at 40 or 42 or something like that.
Yeah, 40 some boxes we ended up emptying because we were shuffling and putting everything back in boxes.
Combining 2 boxes into one kind of thing. And...
So that was really nice. So now we're all caught up with getting everything put away and organized just in time to get more stuff processed.
I do my photos for the clothes in the basement. It's just that we have a little space over there for me to do it. And then I put them in IKEA bags when I'm done with them. And then when it gets full, I bring them out here. And eventually I get around to putting them in the boxes.
We had like 4 IKEA bags full of bags that needed to get put in boxes.
Finally got that done. And it's just easier. It's easier to find things when they're in the boxes because we just put the number, this is the first item in the box. And then it's easy. It's just every 3 or 4 months we have to spend a couple hours shuffling everything, but it works well.
Guess jeans, Malibu, black tends to do well for us. These sold for $13. Lucky Brand women's jeans, Lolita, sold for $19. Waltz With Me women's nightgown. I just picked up some more of them this weekend at some yard sale. They don't sell quickly. I've got more over here I need to get listed because they are starting to sell right now. I think it's coming back. People want the vintagey gowns and negligees and stuff like that. These ended up selling $11.41. Levi's women's denim shorts, but they are khaki colored, sold for $17.71. And then the shoes, they sold very, very quickly. We just picked these up at the last trip to the bins. Solomon men's trail running shoes sold, I think, probably within 4 days of listing them for $60. And then these Wrangler women's cash cowgirl cut jeans, same day we listed them, they sold for $24. It was a good week. This week, Robert's had a few no sale days. I've had a few low sale days.
On eBay, her brain always operates in the eBay world. I've had sales every day. Like I had nothing on eBay one day, but I had 4 sales on Posh.
Right. It's just odd when nothing sells on eBay for him. Nothing.
I finally sold something today. I didn't sell anything yesterday, but we shipped 4 for Poshmark yesterday.
I know.
Or was it 5? Might have been 5 by the time we got it shipped.
I don't know, but I think so. In my brain, I've always been, eBay was my primary. If you go back to the beginning, there's been months and months and months where eBay was my only. And, then I get back into wanting to cross list and then I'd get frustrated and take everything down. But I'm in it now. It's just Nifty has changed our world as far as it delists for us. It's been very accurate with keeping up with everything. It is so super, super quick to cross list to the other platforms.
And the AI,
I was going to say that. The AI is amazing. So
it puts words in there that people would search for that we ourselves would not put in there.
All right, it's time to get to work. Bye.